Okay, there we go. I've got a group of 3 helos down there on the coast, right down below me. So I'm right above them, or practically right above them at this point. As we approach Poti and the Rioni River and the big lake, it starts with a P, I think, out there beyond Poti, and I was actually reading up on Poti and a lot of this stuff.
Relic 1, looks like you are 4 kilometers away from us.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, I concur. So they're right down below me right at this point. Okay, let me go ahead and push it on up. I'm about 650. Yeah, I can, for my purposes, just hanging out right about 700 is going to sound just fine. Let me go trim nose up a little bit. And okay, yeah, there we go. I've got a helo down there in the field. That's the field that was called out. So let me start to sweep a little bit more aggressively for ground targets out here. I would, if I were guessing, I always try to sort of outguess a mission designer here. I would expect possibly some forces coming in from Poti along this river, or along this road, over the bridges. I would expect some stuff to be hidden right here in this tree line. That's where I would have some stuff if I were setting this mission up. And then of course, straight down this road, I can see a train actually right there. But nothing else is really standing out. Okay, and do I want to? Yeah, I don't really want to overfly Poti. Let me put the nose back up a little bit. And I can actually make one more sweep out here, just not zoomed in, just for anything that stands out, anything that just sort of kicks a little flag in my brain saying, okay, there's contrast where there shouldn't be contrast. And of course, we've got the target right there by the helo, the down helo right there by my cursor. And I've got nothing else that's standing out in the air or on the ground. I'm not going to overfly Poti, so let me kind of aggressively take it on around here and pick up side of my helos that I'm escorting here. Okay, now I've temporarily lost sight, although they're right. Yeah, there we go. I've got them right there by the tree line. Yeah, there's at least one of the helos. 2. Yeah, there's the helos right there, and they should be getting close to turning inbound. Just looking out there in the target area again, still not picking anything up. Okay, let me just check around the cockpit. Everything's still looking good for gauges, fuel flows, temperatures, fuel state still just fine. Okay, so everything is still looking fine. Okay, gotcha. There they are, just right there below my wing, turning inbound, all 3 of them. I'll do the same. I'll make a sweep out here, just out to the pilot, and I just need to, I think I'll make, just sort of in the back of my mind, I'll just make sure that I don't go any further than the edge of this forest right there. So if I see myself getting out there into those fields, I'll know that it's time to turn back. Okay, let me trim those up. I let myself, wow, how did I get that slow? I think I just had my throttle back way too far. Let me trim the nose back up a little bit.
Alright guys, got our down helicopter in sight, just like we talked about earlier. Light up those tree lines. Relic 1, we stay top cover now and await taxi. See anything we're not shooting, you feel free to take it.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so these guys are going to go in and start to hit targets. I just need to look for targets myself. Now, let me come around here so I can get a better vantage point. And I'm just going to primarily... Okay, 2's in. Just primarily going to be looking for stuff coming down the roads, obvious lines of approach. Okay, 4 is calling out targets in sight. Okay, there's the helo. Okay, there's some hits down there on that town. I'm not seeing any. Okay, I do see a ground target right there where they're firing. Okay, nothing else really standing out in the area. I'm going to continue top cover up here. We just sort of scan this tree line. And then the road looking up. Yeah, got some good stuff burning down there. That still looks like a... yeah, possibly a dead vehicle right there by... okay, that's somebody shooting at a helicopter right there by that fire. Let me see, I'm thinking about rolling in on this guy right now. Okay, yeah, he is taking fire. Let me go in and roll in on that location. And boy, how did I get so high in the air?
Good hit so far. Keep up the pressure.
Okay, let me go and kick out my speed brakes and dive on this location. I'll just put some 23mm in there.
Looks like we got some vehicles northeast of the crash site heading into the fields.
Okie doke. Yeah, I never could get a good lineup on that one. Okay, vehicles. Okay, that looks like a better target right there. A group of vehicles coming in. Okay, let me light these guys up with a 37. And these 50s early jets, they're such notoriously unstable gun platforms. So it's really hard sometimes to get really lined up well and just be able to let the paper walk up, although I think I've got it nailed this time. Trim is sort of challenging to nail down on these, so let's go for right about there. Okay, throttle up, off left. Okay, they're shooting back at me now. Okay, I think I got one on that pass. Okay, I've got the helo in sight. Now let me just come back out here, scan right for anything in the air, anything on the road. Okay, I think I'm still good. Let me come back around, put some more fire onto that group. Okay, those are the helos right there. Okay, I've got to do something about this guy. Let me go in on this guy with some 37. Because he was shooting at my helos. It is. Okay, now let me come back around to this other group. Okay, I've got a group firing from the tree line down here.
Rescue 1 is on the ground.
Okay, helo right there. Just need to deconflict a little bit better with these guys, I guess. Okay, I might have led those guys a little bit too much. Let me just sort of jink it around. Okay, got one. Let me just sort of jink it around so I'm not being predictable for these guys if they want to fire back. Okay, fire coming from this tree line. Right there. Okay, I'll note that one for a little bit later. Let me jink a little bit. I'll note that one for a little bit later. Target right there by the building. Another target firing at me. I think the main threat...
Relic 1, looks like we've got infantry rushing the crash site. They are northeast 1,100 meters, running parallel with the power lines.
Okay, northeast, 1,100 meters, power lines. That's going to be right up here where I'm looking. Two vehicles, one just taken out. Okay, I'm not seeing infantry. Okay, I've got the infantry right there just by the vehicles. This is... oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Okay, and I've still got this little guy down here. I want to get this guy, although he's not an immediate danger to anybody. Well, now he is. He's firing. Let me try this one more time. Just a quick burst, 23. Okay, I'm out. That was actually not a bad lineup that time, but I'm out of 23mm. I need to prioritize the target that was called in, the infantry rushing the target site. And I'm out of ammo. Okay, I've done all that I really can, other than just come up here and just provide basic top cover. Okay, these guys, helos below me, are taking fire. I'll just do a show of force down here over... additional show of force down here over this other vehicle. Same thing on the other way back. I've got... Okay, they might actually be airborne. They might have actually made the pickup already. Okay, no, I take that back. I've got both helos. Okay, sounds good. On board. Okay, let me come around aggressively, make show of force on this infantry. And that other group firing from the tree line right there, and I'll come off the left on this pass. And I'm just trying to draw any fire away from these helos that I possibly can.
Alright, blowing.
Oh, this should be cool. There it goes.
Nice job, guys. Let's head home now. Everyone is cleared for RTB.
Okay, gotcha. Let me see if I can get tally on the helos. I saw one coming in this direction down the road. Let me just continue to jink it around here, and I'll go ahead and climb up so I'm out of this ground fire threat. And out of ammo, there's not a whole heck of a lot that I can do about anything that's progressing, other than just come back down here and try to draw fire right from this helo, who looks like is taking some very close shots right there. Okay, so I had one helo back in that direction, and yeah, I've completely lost track of where the helos are, but that's okay. Okay, I've got one still hovering out here, so I'm just going to orbit up here above the site and just making a quick sweep. Okay, it's still good on fuel. I've got the light on telling me that I've drained one of the tanks. Okay, good temperatures, good pressures, good everything. So yep, still looking just fine. And I'm just waiting for this one helo to really get out of there. Okay, and he's putting fire onto that one vehicle right there, so I think one of these guys is about to go down. Hopefully the vehicle. And oh wow. that was neat. Yeah, I think the rescue helos have all taken off, or the one with the rescue, or the one that made the pickup is already RTB'd, and it's just the gunships that are in there doing their thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with me just hanging out up here and orbiting and watching at this point. Still just looking around for any air threats that are going to show up. At the very least, if a MiG or something shows up, then I can just drag it out over the water away from these helos down there. Okay, there's a vehicle down. I've just been here for probably another 5-10 minutes just watching these helos do their work, just orbiting up here at high altitude. And my fuel state is down. Yeah, I'm still just fine on fuel, although it's probably about time for me to head on back in either case. So I'm going to start to head back down the coast at this point. Let me trim the nose back down. And yeah, I'm fine up here at this altitude. Now I'll just continue on and come back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back a little while later. I have passed the Nguri River, heading back down the coast towards my airfield at Sukumi Babu Shara, right out there in the distance that we can see. And yeah, I think that's it for the mission. I thought that was a lot of fun. Those helos in there, I was probably flying a little bit closer to them than I had intended. I know that I saw one of them just off my nose as I was running in on some targets. They were probably just all swarming around me during that. I didn't really pick up on that. I guess I'll try to, in the future, just looking for some lessons learned from this, keep my head a little bit less focused on the ground targets, because I still wasn't, I was intending to also look out there to the north and look for any enemy fighters coming in, but so far at least nothing else has shown up, and I think that is the mission. The helos made the pickup. I didn't see any of the helos get taken out, and just thinking about how things went from my perspective, I ran out of ammo. That came on me, I guess, a little bit earlier than I expected. I know that the MiG-15 has a low or a smaller ammo load than, say, the F-86, or just blows through it a lot more quickly, so I knew that that would be a factor. I just didn't expect to run out like immediately like that, but once you get in there and start to take out targets, you can just sort of get focused and lose track of that very, very easily. And flying the MiG on those runs, I know that against the area targets, like those infantry formations that showed up, I was pretty effective. In those groups of vehicles, I felt like I was effective. I didn't feel like I was effective against point targets. Now, thinking about the technique that I used, I never really had the trim under control. Right now I'm hands off. You can see my nose is coming up. I think, yeah, during that entire sequence, I was in the dive. So as you dive and you pick up speed, okay, right now my hands are off with the controls, but as I pick up more and more speed, see the nose start to come up more and more quickly as we pick up more and more speed. And now I'll just trim it out to neutral. And yeah, there it goes again. I think I was fighting that and having to try to compensate and get the proper track by going stick down instead of just having it neutral and letting it just more or less walk its way up. I'd like to have just a little bit of, when I'm firing the gun, a little bit of back pressure on the stick, just so that it gives me a little bit of extra touch and a little bit of extra feel. So I could have done with trimming nose down a lot more than I did before I actually rolled in. And I also, I leave the gun sight in the fixed position. I could have unlocked it and had it in the free-floating gyro position. That would, assuming that I have the, the range set correctly to whatever, even ground targets that I fire at, that will compensate some. And, well, I guess since I've got nothing else to do on the way back, I'll explain why in the MiG and the F-86 and, well, any aircraft that basically has like a floating gyro like this, the reason I don't really use those for air-to-ground gunnery. And we'll just say that I'm coming in here and I'm going to strafe this bridge. Okay, so I come in here. Yeah, there's a train. I'll go for this instead. I'll come in, I'll line up, and see how, as I make these small adjustments, that the sight just sort of bounces around as the gyro makes the adjustments. It doesn't deal well with very, very small, minute adjustments. And I'll come in here and I'll just pick a spot out here on the ground. So, okay, so I roll out, tracking a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and you get that big, big motion out of the gyro as it updates. So that's why I always, and I mean just pretty much without exception, go with a fixed gyro. Now let me come up and I'll roll in on like one of these little targets out here. I'll go for like that smokestack. So come around on this one. So then you line up, and now I'm making these little minute adjustments, and the sight's still there. So the only thing that I'm really dealing with is just the airframe movement, and I don't have to then compensate for the gyro movement. Everything is a lot more still, and as long as I know how far down to allow the bullets to drop and to compensate for that, then I can still be very, very effective on a fixed sight. And what I was doing there, I don't think I even mentioned it in real time, and let me get the trim square back away. I had it nose down trim just so that, like I said, I would have a little bit of back pressure on the dive, so now it's trimmed out evenly. Yeah, I was lining the targets up just right about there. I think during the test flight series, as I was doing gunnery, right about there was the sweet spot when it comes to where the bullets are going to drop on their path and where to put the sight on the ground, as I have already reached the airfield. That came up very, very quickly. So let me go ahead and call for landing clearance.